This is an overview of the first-time buyer process in the UK. If you want to discuss anything in this video, then feel free to take a look at the website and even book in a call or send us a message through there. The website details will be in the description. Now, first off, you should speak to a mortgage advisor. You can speak to any mortgage advisor you wish, but I recommend you speak to an independent advisor and one that has access to the whole market. The reason I say independent is try and avoid advisors that are associated with the estate agents, because do they really work solely for you and have your best interests at heart? And likewise for a big organisation. Also ones that have access to the whole market, or the lenders you can get access to in the market. Reason being, there'll be a far greater choice of products and rates, and you just know that you're going to be able to find a solution for your individual needs. So, independent mortgage advisor with access to all of the market. So step 2 is getting the agreement in principle. Once you've had a good chat with a mortgage advisor and they understand your full circumstances and what you're looking to do, they will be able to have a look on the sourcing systems and then put through an agreement in principle for you. That will be a very light credit search, often called a soft credit search. Some lenders may do a hard search, but you'll be told that before the application goes in. It's just a very light look by the lender. So they look at your credit history, they'll confirm your ID, and in theory, they'll come back and say, we can offer X amount. So then you know roughly, or relatively confidently, how much you can borrow. You can then take that agreement in principle along to an estate agent, and they know that you've been assessed by a qualified mortgage advisor and you know how much you can afford, plus your deposit, which will then form the basis of any offer you want to make on a property. Step 3 is where the fun starts, and that's the actual house hunting. So get onto Rightmove and start looking for houses that tick your boxes. Remember, you're probably going to have to compromise on a few things to find something you like. Very rare you can actually find perfection. But anyway, go and view the properties, get in touch with the estate agents, show them your agreement in principle, and remember, don't offer more than you can afford. So your agreement in principle amount plus your deposit is your maximum offer price. If you go over that, you might struggle in actually securing the funding for it. So bear that in mind. You're also going to need a bit of money put aside for surveys, advisor fees, and the solicitors, so the conveyancing side of things. So just keep that in mind. But go out there, make offers on properties you like. The worst thing that can happen when you make an offer is they say no. You just go in and make another offer. So don't be shy if you want to make a cheeky offer. Worst they can do is say no. So once you've had an offer accepted, happy days. That's when we go and put the formal mortgage application in. So that's where your documents will be uploaded to the lender, the full application form will be submitted, and that's where the underwriting then starts. At this point, you probably want to start looking at quotes for a solicitor. Me, as a mortgage advisor, I can provide a quote for a solicitor that we work with, but obviously you're free to use whoever you want in the market. So once that all goes in, the underwriting starts. There may be a couple of follow-up questions, but your mortgage advisor will deal with those. They may have to come back to you and ask for further documents, but don't worry, it's quite normal. The lenders just want to have a good look at everything. And you remember, there's no point trying to hide anything because it will be found. So always be open and honest with your advisor right from the outset, so they know what they're dealing with and they can match you with a suitable lender who's probably going to accept your case. So once all the underwriting has been done and hopefully the lender are happy with it, they produce a formal mortgage offer. Good stuff. That's them saying, yes, we'll lend you X amount of money for this property that you've put an offer on. Now this is where it then gets over to the solicitors and it goes a bit quiet and takes a bit of time. So the conveyancing stage, the legals, the solicitors. This is a quiet period and takes a bit of time, but the solicitor is working hard for you behind the scenes. There's lots of toing froing between you and the sellers. The solicitor will do it on your behalf. They'll be asking for contracts, they'll be asking for details, they'll be doing searches, all this kind of stuff. Don't panic. It's quite normal for it to go quite quiet and take a bit of time. Let them do their thing. At this point, with my clients, I take the time to look at their protection needs. So their life insurance, critical illness, income protection, all sorts of protections they need. Also, buildings insurance, because at exchange of contracts, you have to have buildings insurance in place on the property you're buying. Don't overlook that because it's a key piece. Your advisor should be able to point you in the right direction or even help you out. But yeah, don't worry, this period can be a bit quiet, but I fill the silence with looking at the insurance needs. So once the solicitors have got to a point where they are happy with the contents of the contracts, you can exchange contracts. And at that point, you're legally bound to buy that property. And as mentioned previously, you have to get buildings insurance put in place on that property. At this point, you're then just waiting for completion. Sometimes exchange and completion happen on the same day, but they might be a few months apart. They might be a couple of days apart. Take buying a new build, for example. The developer are going to want you to exchange contracts ASAP so they can lock that sale in. I think when we bought ours, we had to exchange within 28 days. And we didn't complete until 3 or 4 months after that. So they often, if you're doing like a second-hand sale, they kind of happen around the same time, but it can differ. Again, don't worry, your solicitor will guide you all through it. It's at exchange of contracts that you actually pay your deposit to the solicitor. So you give them all the money, they'll keep hold of it, and then they will make sure that on completion all the money is dealt with. So at exchange of contracts, you've got to pay your deposit as well. So the final stage is completion. That's when all the money changes hands, the solicitor updates the deeds, and you get the keys to your new property and you move in. Happy days, good stuff. The only downside is you're now on the hook for a mortgage. So about 30 days after completion will be your first mortgage payment. Now, quite often it's higher than what your normal payments would be. That's because the mortgage starts on day of completion and you actually incur interest from that period until the first payment. So the first payment is the coming month plus the interest that you've accrued during that initial sort of 30-day period. So be prepared for a higher initial payment, but after that it does go back to normal. Hopefully you move in and you're very happy in your new house. And that, in a nutshell, is the first time buyer process. Of course, it's a lot of information, so do feel free to get in touch if you want to discuss any of it, and I'll be more than happy to help. Don't forget to like and follow for more.